Okay, so what is this video about? It's about the 7D, the original 7D, which was released in 2009. It was Canon's premium APS-C camera, so the mirrorless equivalent would be the R7, which was released last year before. Yes, so let's go through this, shall we? All photos you're seeing were shot with a Canon 7D, and the lens I used was a adapted M42 mount Carl Zeiss Jena DDR 135mm f3.5 lens. Now this is an incredibly sharp lens, as you'll be able to see from the quality of the pictures. With the crop factor of 1.6 on the 7D, it makes a 216mm lens, so it was a challenge, bit of a challenge shooting with this particular lens. Now getting back to the camera, it's an 18 megapixel CMOS APS-C camera. Has a shutter life of 150,000, of which when I bought it, it had only been used for 1,500 shots, so it had over 98% of its shutter life still left. Yes, another bargain like my D800E. It takes one compact flash card slot, so that's the same as its big brother at the time, which was the 5D Mark II, which was only 20.1 megapixels, so not much of a loss in resolution from the APS-C to the full frame, but in price there was a big price difference, obviously. The 7D was considered to be the top of the line APS-C amateur, or AMPRO as they used to call it, camera, so for people who were serious enthusiasts but didn't quite have the money to buy a full frame camera, but also people who wanted the extra reach that the crop gave them without losing too much of the resolution, because if you imagine that a 100mm lens gives you 160mm on the APS-C compared to a full frame, so you can see there's that 60% increase in reach with only a tiny loss in resolution. All the photos also shot at ISO 800 as well, and I'm really impressed with the noise level on this camera. I was not expecting that at all from a 15-year-old, well, potentially 15-year-old camera. Now I should say I bought this on eBay and it looked brand new when I got it. Hardly a mark on it. Incredible. Can't believe it. Yes, now back to the shots. Now I shot this on a cloudy day, ISO 800, so the reason I bumped the ISO up was to try and keep the shutter speed reasonable to avoid too much shake, which I did get with a few of them. But of course you can avoid that by using the burst mode. If you put it into burst mode, it's like this. You have to remember the 1DX didn't come out until after this camera, so a lot of what was in this camera actually went on to be in the first 1DX, because the 7D came from the I think it was the 1D or the 1DS line, so you had a 1D3, 1D3S, and they were all before this particular camera, so it does have a lot of cross type focus points, which if you look that up you'll see is quite good. I mean, these days obviously it's the quad, I can't remember what the Canon term is, but yes, I'm very impressed with this camera, and it only cost £150. So again, you can get quality equipment for next to nothing almost, and this is a quality, well built camera. You can tell the difference between the, because it's weather sealed as well, you can tell the difference between the what they would consider consumer led cameras and the more sort of aimed at the serious hobbyist and sort of pro type cameras. And this is the wheel on the back. Now on the amateur cameras, it's just 4 little D-pad. It's like a D-pad thing with 4, east, south, north, east, west, north, south, and a OK button in the middle. Whereas the pro ones, it's a proper wheel that you wheel round, and that's the big difference. And of course, the big LCD on the top plate as well on the right hand side. That's on all their pro cameras, not all of their sort of semi-pro, well, not even semi-pro, consumer ones. That particular top plate isn't as prevalent, if at all. I seem to remember the 550D had the same thing, and that was out around the same time as the 70, and the 550D had the same sensor, same resolution. It took one SD card and wasn't weather sealed. Didn't have quite the same focus points or the burst mode. I actually shot my degree final project on a 550D, and the resolution on that, no problem. I had an A0 print on my bedroom wall still, that I took with that back in 2012. So again, 18 megapixels, more than enough for the internet, for social media, which is, let's face it, which is where 99.99999% of all photos go, social media. So you're going to be looking at it on a phone. So those 18 megapixels, like I mentioned in my previous video, is 10 megapixels more than 4K resolution, which is basically what a phone is, maximum. If you get an 8K phone, that's just ridiculous, far too much. That's overkill as far as I'm concerned. So yes, 4K is a downsampling when you export in Lightroom. Image size is a lot smaller, but you still got that resolution. Now, what else can I say about this camera? Yes, again, bought on eBay, unbelievable condition, unbelievable. I just don't know where these cameras are coming from. I mean, it's like a new camera, literally. I got it out and I looked at it and I couldn't see a scratch on it. I mean, obviously it came with a charger and a battery, and I'm going to have to replace the battery because the battery's a bit not as good battery life as I would hope, but that's because it's an old battery. I think it must have just sat in somebody's cupboard. They must have bought it God knows how many years ago when they thought they were going to do photography as a hobby, and then cast it aside or put it aside or just forgotten about it, like a lot of film cameras these days. And suddenly it's pops up on eBay, $149.99. Yep, thank you, I'll take that with a shutter count of 1475, I think it was. I've obviously pushed it up just past 2000. But yes, I think I'm going to have to make another video where I talk about my process for buying used gear. I think specifically on eBay. I think I'll just make one specifically on eBay, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good gear out there. Now, because the UK is outside of the European Union, we're very much limited on the stock we can buy. I mean, you can buy stuff from the European Union, but it takes an age to get here, and you've got custom fees which you didn't have before, which was quite annoying. Obviously you can buy from Japan, especially don't even get me started about buying from Japan. Film photography gear, if you can get really good stuff, buy it from Japan, because they keep their film gear really good. But yes, digital cameras, I'm definitely gonna have to do one, I think, on eBay. Enjoy the pictures. I hope you've enjoyed the pictures. They were shot mostly in Bramber Castle, the walk from my village to Bramber Castle and back again. There's a few road signs, and yes, I was very impressed with the performance of the camera, especially the noise, or lack of. I couldn't see any. ISO 800 on a 14-year-old camera, it just wasn't there. I just couldn't see it. Incredible. And yes, I would have made this video sooner have it not been for bad weather, catching COVID at the start of December, and then my normal computer crashing. Well, the onboard SSD drive died, and that's a little expense I've got to go into now as well to get my computer working again. I'm having to use my laptop, but yes. Yes, I think I'll do an eBay themed one next. Okay, until next time, thank you very much. Okay, so what is this video about? It's about the 7D, the original 7D, which was released in 2009. It was Canon's premium APS-C camera, so the